let me ask this question. You know, one of the things I think that business and oftentimes government looks across the fence at each other, business is rewarded for performance versus tenure. Now that's pretty brutal when you really think about that, Megan, in light of your statement. Is there a role for performance in government versus tenure? I mean, we look at tenure, an employee moves up the scale simply by being there, instead of performance. In the business world, it's performance. If you don't perform, you know, the market's going to make sure you're not there tomorrow.
Well, some portions of the business world used to reward by tenure.
Right. That changed a long time ago.
And that has changed in most of it. And I think that there's an opportunity with the situation that exists now to have all the parties come together and look at maybe there are some options they'd be willing to work on. Okay. That might add in a performance basis without necessarily disrupting, you know, taking away from people what they feel that they have worked so long to earn.
But the reality is we do have a tremendous amount of infrastructure through the civil service and through contracts that make it very difficult to bring kind of these new management ideas into City Hall. And I would hope that if you have a productive relationship with the unions, with union leadership, that they can see the benefit of moving to a more productive and more constructive working relationship.
Yeah. The people I have talked to want to be productive.
Okay.
They want to do their job. They believe in their job.
Now, and before I go to Jim, I'm going to go to you next. Let me just make a quick statement before someone says, hey, Andy's anti-union. On some points, you know, I really respect the building trades unions. Those folks have to get out there. They're coupled with being unionized, but their companies have to compete to survive. Those men and women work hard. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they work hard. And I don't know that we get the same sense out of government. I'm not saying they don't, but I don't get the same sense. Jim.
Andy, that's a perfect tie-in to, I think, what has been said and what I was going to say, because we talk about business and the way that business is, and I'm going to argue that, yes, in business, people do get advancement based on reward, but there's still seniority. It's a combination of both. It's not fair, and that's because business works, as we all know, in a free market. You have to be competitive with price, product, and service if you're going to market your good, and I think the city needs to look at that. We have to have the right people in the right job, and we have to have some flexibility in how we get that person to that job. And it goes back to 2 questions later. You said, well, raising pilots and stuff is another form of taxation. In a lot of ways, so are things like project labor agreements. And so are things like, if we're going to guarantee or give a business money to come to Duluth and open a business, that they have to pay a guaranteed $9 an hour job. In reality, that sounds good, and we don't want to think anybody's working out there for $7 or $8 an hour. But if we have to subsidize those jobs, and the taxpayers have another tax coming at them by paying for their goods and services, we have to look at the whole thing in a free market society if we're going to succeed as a city.
Senate, you're an old.
I award by service or evaluations brings me back to. And I won't mention any names, but I was under an evaluation every 3, 4, or 5 years. A director would say that we have to evaluate our workers. And I sat in that evaluation with the associate director. He did not know what I did. He didn't know how I did it. At the end of that evaluation, I asked him, can I evaluate you now? Well, he wasn't interested in that. And yet, his job, in my mind, was to know what I was doing, was to know whether what I was doing was working. Was I meeting, oh, we need a plan. Well, I don't know. When I started with every neighborhood I've been in, I had a plan. I knew what I was about. I never felt a sense of participation. Those associates were serving the people above them, all the way up to the mayor, not you in this particular case, and had no idea of what the real meat and potatoes of what I was doing was all about.
Okay.
We're going to have this is one thing, but incentives could be another thing. Incentives to help create people who are in the workplace with cost-saving ideas. Incentives for cost-saving ideas within employees.
Thank you. We've got about a minute and a half left. I want to go around the room and make sure that you've got just a few seconds to talk about yourself. Whatever you want, it's up to you, John. So,
Thanks a lot for having us here. This is very interesting, even for me. It enlightens my perspectives on a lot of issues here. And hopefully you guys will have the same response. But make sure you vote, whether it's for myself or anybody else. Get out there and do your part to make a decision for society here.
Herb?
I agree with John. Thanks for allowing us to come into your homes today. And if you've got a favorite candidate, get out there and vote for them on September 11th, because you may not be able to do that in November. So take care of business now.
Remember our kids.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the other candidates. It's been a fun and spirited primary election, and it's been great getting to know all of you.
And I want to also agree with Herb and John that how important it is to vote in the September primary, because that may be your last chance to vote for somebody that you particularly want to see elected. And I've enjoyed this forum a lot. It's been a great deal of fun to have the interchange and the discussion.
And not to reiterate again, but statistic was the last primary for the mayor's election, it was less than 50% of the registered voters that came out and voted. Less than 50%. So that tells a lot. So we need everybody to get out. And my brother called me this morning and asked me if I got the red stuff off my face. And I said, what do you mean the red stuff off my face? And he said, well, I saw you on TV and there was red right across your face, a red line right across your face. I said, yeah, I took care of that.
September 11th is a very important day, I think, in our nation's history. And we have the ultimate example right now of freedom. We were attacked on September 11th, 2001. This Tuesday is Patriots Day, and we're having a free, fair, and open election in the city of Duluth. With a wonderful selection of candidates, people have an option of choices, a veritable plethora. If you don't find it here, you're not going to find it anywhere. It's been great to know all of you through this process. It's been wonderful. I plan on spending Tuesday night sitting home with some friends and relatives in a very low-key atmosphere. In respect to September 11th and what the day is, we have a free, fair, and open vote, and that's an unbelievable thing. It's a sign of our democracy. So vote early and often to get the opportunity.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, each and every one of you, for taking your time and being here, and watch for this on the web.
Thank you.